people's already been wrong, and they've heard it. But in the dark, among the stars, they know that God is dead.
Yeah. So now let me change from a lyric to spit. Just like we didn't change like his vision to shit. This man has no clue about DC Comics. And man, what the hell was with Superman's lit? I can't even watch it. It's such a disgrace. I really wish Zeus would punch shots in the face.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to SNYDER AV. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Let me adjust my camera here a little bit. Got a little knocked around before I came on. Yeah, so how's everybody doing? It is SNYDER AV. Gonna have a panel tonight, and gonna talk about, as I'm sure you've seen in the thumbnail, possible futures for the Snyderverse and everything that's been going on with Warner Brothers, revolving around the Snyder Cut this year and all that stuff. And I kind of wanted to deep dive on it and talk about what everybody sees as their outcome and anything and everything. And, talk about current stuff going on and stuff like that too. But I have a couple members of my panel here already, so let me bring them in without further ado. We have Zeverfed here. And
what's up?
What's up, man? And from Pop Culture Corner, we got Austin over here too.
What's up? Yo,
Right here.
What up?
What's going on, guys? So, wait, before I get into anything, did anybody watch that phone video earlier or what?
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, I tell you what, it looks cool and all, but it's not like there was anything really given away that like.
Right. I think it could have
that
been
we're
planned.
all waiting for, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like it wasn't anything that was like, oh my god, you've ruined the experience. You know, I don't need to watch the movie now. You know, or whatever. And it could have been like sometimes they'll leak stuff on on purpose to because I mean they have been.
What do you think? Like maybe like diversion leak or something, like, and then it's going to be something different
to gauge interest, to build interest, stuff like that. They'll try to leak, maybe images. Usually, sometimes they'll leak a trailer, but it's just it was kind of weird because it was like a leak of a leak. It was like somebody took
the phone on the phone. Yeah, I know.
So they were like, it can never be. It's not quality. It's not quality. It's like what we used to watch from San Diego Comic-Con or whatnot. Something like that. It's still kind of distorted and kind of gave you like okay, this is kind of what you're maybe looking at or whatever, but it didn't really give anything away. So.
Yeah. Like no other Spider-Man spoilers.
Right. Yeah.
No, put it that way.
But also, I mean, I don't think if Marvel has any say in the marketing, I don't think they would. They'll put that in the trailer unless they do.
I would hope not.
I mean, a lot of companies throw shit out there like whoa, that I shouldn't have seen. Doomsday.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're so excited and they want to get butts in seats. Sometimes they do jump the gun a little bit.
That's like that last Venom trailer. Like I feel like I know the whole plot of the movie already.
I think so. Yeah. They're like
they give away a lot in that.
Yeah, they're
they could
I hope they deliver.
Yeah, that one. Me too. I mean, they could do like what they did with Civil War, right, and drop them like at the end, the other two, and be like,
it could be completely CG. Like, hey, they were there the whole time. We just didn't know because they were just CG. It wasn't really those two guys.
Exactly.
So I know Austin. I was going to ask you all what everybody thought of Titans this week.
Yeah.
I loved it. I especially loved the way that they showed like Red Hood's gunplay as he was doing his karate fighting at the same time with Nightwing. I thought that was pretty dope. But Austin just caught up on the entire show this week, like in the last couple days, right? Yeah, binged the whole thing. So what are you thinking so far, man?
I was telling you, I like it. I do like it. The parts that I don't like are I like really, really don't like. I have issues with Batman, obviously Bruce Wayne, but I think
everyone does.
Yeah, it seems I have all the issues that everybody else has. It seems, some of the dialogue.
Yeah,
it's just kind of, it's funny. They have some really, really great dialogue moments, like in the season premiere of season 3, when I think it was episode 1 or 2, when Starfire kind of gives that little speech to them, like, Jason didn't learn, don't be like them, and all that. I was like, oh, that's good. This is good, And other times it has just some really, really campy dialogue that's just like, it just doesn't match with the rest of the show, with the seriousness of the show. That it's like,
I'll tell you what, the one thing that I think somebody, I forget who it was that mentioned it to me, but somebody in a chat a couple of nights ago mentioned that, like, the whole Bruce Wayne thing, like, somebody pointed out the fact that it'd be better to have like a shitty Bruce Wayne because of the fact that we're not supposed to really care about him as a character. We're supposed to care about the Titans, rather than if they cast someone better, we'd all be sitting here like, when are we going to see Batman in action? You know what I mean? It's almost as if like they downcasted him on purpose, because if it would have been a good casting, it would have just been a waste of Batman, and we all would have been mad about that, kind of thing. Like,
sure. I can see that.
It kind of changed my perspective when the person pointed it out to me. Like, I was like, yeah, I can see that, because I mean, the show's not really about him, like, even though he's a main character, like,
yeah.
Right. And it does feel like at times that the show kind of relies on his character, or on the
I think it relies.
Character.
Most of this stuff relies on like the Bat family anyway.
Bat family, yeah. I mean, but
it's like let's lean heavily. I mean, you got
I mean,
Jonathan Crane. You've got Batgirl, you've got Nightwing, you've got Robin, you've got Tim Drake. They're just like, let's just lean heavily on Batman because that's easy.
I mean, the comics are the same a lot. Yeah. In defense, I mean, it's always been like the Bat family's money funding them and stuff like that.
Right.
Like it's obviously, but I mean, I really hope they cast someone like in some. I mean, maybe not similar fashion, because obviously Clark Kent doesn't age the same way Bruce Wayne does, but I'd like to see someone cast as Clark to be part of Superboy's arc. Right. As far as like,
that'd be good, because I'm getting kind of tired. I liked him better in the last season than in this season. In this season, he just reminds me too much of Grant Gustin. In that, like, oh, I'm just not fast enough. Oh, it just wasn't fast enough. I'm like, right. Dude, shut up. Like I'm tired of bitching. You're such.
I'm not a hero.
Yeah, I'm not a hero.
But I kind of like that, because I felt like it kind of like displayed his lack of understanding of actually being a human and living a life, and like, he's just reacting to everything very like, now this thing,
stuff.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah,
it's
and that's
like,
the thing.
I've heard that before.
It feels super CW at times. Feels super CW, and that's where I'm like, oh, guys,
the CW started out great.
And I'm sorry. Same thing with Gar.
Started out,
yeah. Like he was. I mean, come on.
It's so sad what's happened.
How often does Starfire get to beat the shit out of Gar? I'm like, what? I'm like, again. Like, I woke up in the trunk. I'm like, oh god, seriously, we're doing this still. Okay.
Poor
and then the sister, that was kind of a waste. Just the whole sequence, and then the guy watching her or in charge of her, I was like, what? This guy?
I thought he was a waste. I didn't think that. I liked the interaction between her and Blackfire. I thought that kind of fit.
I like the family, like when they're
like
discussing
the family
stuff and whatever.
Exactly,
but then when they fought in the cell and stuff, I was like, okay, where's this going? And then she left, and then she came back for her, and then they left again, and I was like, and then Gar's all cool with it.
Right.
Like, let's do it. Now there are two of them that can beat the shit out of him, and he's cool with that, so makes sense. So far, the best thing that's happened is Hawk. That's the best thing that's happened in this whole season is what they did with Hawk. I was like, wow, okay, good for you, good job. You guys did something that was interesting. Yeah, you went there.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed that, and then also too, I was telling also Life, I love Brendan Thwaite's Nightwing. I think.
He's,
I think
he's
if
the star of the
anything,
show.
Definitely like
it's a
casting in the
waste
show,
that they
like-
put him in the show and not in the movies. He would have been.
Well, yeah, I mean,
great
that
in
was
the movie.
creative. That was Zach saying, "I need to kill Dick." But if he hadn't,
Right.
he would have been a perfect. Ben and him would have been fantastic, phenomenal. It would have been great. They could have had great chemistry. It could have been awesome. I understand the choice. Like, okay, if you kill Dick, that's really going to weigh on Bruce. But if you don't, and they're still there, you can still have it weigh a lot on it. I mean, he could still have lost a lot of people along the way. They could have still done the whole thing about putting Barbara in a wheelchair. I mean, you could have still had that. There's really no need to take that kind of liberty, and really to be honest, I mean, I know we didn't get, and we'll get to this later on, Justice League 2 and 3, but in the 3 that we got, the Man of Steel, BVS, Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, killing Dick really doesn't matter,
right?
In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. That definitely could have been Jason Todd in the his outfit in the Batcave, and it wouldn't have changed anything in those 3 movies narratively, or 2 movies, because Man of Steel had nothing to do with it. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have changed anything at all. So
I'd say out of everything Zach's done, it surprised me, to say the least. Like
it did. I thought he misspoke or something like that, and then when he said it again, when he reiterated it and like really drove it home, I was like, oh wow, they did kill him. So
at the time, because when he said it, it was like after the Justice League fiasco. It was in an interview. It was during like the release to Snyder Cut time and the early time, early first year and a half. I forget exactly when, but I know it was in that range. And it was like they were still talking about going forward with the Nightwing movie and all at the time with Chris McKay.
Well, they were going forward with the Nightwing movie because of the Justice League the Suicide Squad changed who Harley helped kill.
Yeah, that's what
Todd.
But that's what I mean. I felt like
that so
saying
they
it
could
was
do the
Nick
Nightwing.
was almost like a FU block to them and their plans, kind of like, because almost like maybe originally he did intend it to be Jason, but then he was like, screw it, I'm gonna say it's Dick. You know what I mean? Like I just because they were screwing him over. Like
no, I get. I think you're right on the one half. He did it just to like hey, I'm driving it home. FU Warner Brothers. But I think that it was always Dick the whole time. I think it was always going to be he was always going to be the one. I don't think in seeing the way that Zach wants to tell his story. I don't see him pulling in the whole Bat family. I think he would have wanted to keep it like it was only those 2 guys and no one else, and then he was going to bring in probably Carrie Kelly. To be the Bat. To be the Robin of this era of his life. So he would have only had 2 Robins.
It's his universe. I'm like, I have no problem with it. To me, it still feels like it could just be another alternate Earth in the comic books. I totally believe the lure of it and everything, and I feel like it still fits the characters, and I have no problem with it whatsoever. Whatever. But I mean, I wish there could have been Nightwing in that universe, but who knows what the implications of the Flash could have been had that universe continued fleshing out either. I mean,
it could have been. And I talked to one of my friends about this a long time ago. Is that it could have been that Bruce talked to Barry, told him about what happened with Dick. Instead of going back and saving his mother, he went back and saved Dick in order to help Bruce. And that could have been
Flash. Man. So. And then he never goes down the
he never goes down that way. And that butterfly effect or whatever changes a lot of things in the future and sort of gives more hope to to whatever their cause was against Darkseid or whatnot. So it could have been pretty cool, but knowing that they cast not Henry Allen, but Nora Allen, that she is the one that is going to be safe or whatever. in the Flash movie coming up. You know, that's who he's going to save or interact with or whatever. And that's probably going to, you know, I don't know. I think they're going down that road, and I think that's the issue with the two Flashes, or the two Barrys rather, is you have a Barry that's always had his mom and a Barry that hasn't, the one that we know. And then so the Barry that's always had his mom is not going to let the Barry that hasn't had his mom, that has the Flash powers, kill his mother.
Right.
So he's going to, from his perspective, our Barry is evil because he needs to kill his mom. And the other Barry that has always had his mom is going to, you know, block or attempt to block that. And I think that's, you know, that's how that's going to play out.
Yeah. None of it sounds right.
Yeah, no. No.
Well, they're taking too many liberties with this Flashpoint thing.
And it's like you can only do the story once. And that's
you can only do the story once.
It's
and
like,
exactly. It's the same thing with Doomsday. You know, you didn't bring around John or what's up, Bell? You didn't bring John. You didn't bring in, you know, Connor. You didn't bring in, you know, Eradicator and Cyborg Superman and all that. It was just, hey, here's Doomsday. You know, it's not even that Doomsday. It's a different Doomsday. Yeah. And you kill Superman. You can't kill Superman twice. Yeah. And so that shows you that, and that's the main issue, I think, or one of the main. I want to say one of the major issues that Warner Brothers had is that Zack wanted to tell a story. And he wanted to tell a confined story. Like there can be spin-off movies, but his story, you know, is not ever expanding like the Marvel universe is ever expanding until they finally
connect to him. He doesn't have to connect to them. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so they were like, no, we want a Nightwing movie. We want, you know, to expand this. We don't want Batman to die and you know, whatever. So that's they were like, no, we want to continue to make money. You know, it wasn't. That's the thing, is that they didn't want a story to end. So that's like, okay, this awesome story can be put on the shelf, and then they can come back and cast other people, and like they're doing with, you know, what's his face, Pattinson, and even though I do like Batman, I'm just like, man, we're on a year since we've had the trailer, like, really? Like, I mean, I don't care anymore about the movie right now. It's like, you know, okay, cool, show me little things here and there, but it's like, damn. I mean, this is the only movie that I know of that they don't really give you anything. They're like, oh, it's Batman. It's gonna make money regardless. We don't have to do shit. we don't have to release anything to the public.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
that's what they thought about James Gunn too.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like, kind of feels like the
like if you saw that one article about who was it? Samba. It was Samba, and they were like, yeah, you know, Suicide Squad had 4 whatever million viewers, and Wonder Woman had 2.8 million viewers, and Zack Snyder's Justice League had 1 something million viewers, and they were trying to and they had an image of Idris, and they had an image of Gal, and then they had an image of Henry. And I was like, why would you put so much stank on Henry, you know, by putting him on, like, you're trying to downgrade or talk down, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, it wasn't really that. It wasn't really that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then they put you know, characters to represent each one. Like Idris. Right. Oh, everybody loves Idris. Oh, Gal for Wonder Woman. Oh, everybody loves Gal. Henry for Superman. You know, like, are you really like shitting on Henry? You know, while you're trying to also shit on Zack Snyder's Justice League? Because I mean, to me, it's like, okay, I would have shown Darkseid. You know, that's Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, that's something people can, or Steppenwolf, the new Steppenwolf. It's like, okay, people can get that, like, oh yeah, that one or whatever. But to show Henry, I mean, I have to see something real in order for me to say, you know, Warner Brothers really does like Henry as Superman.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen that yet.
I think they greatly underestimate the ability to just recast them. Like, in my head, I think Emmerich and Hamada and them think in their heads that they can recast them and the whole world's just going to accept it and it's going to be fine.
Well, they've done that with Tyler Hoechlin, right? As far as like not recasting, but just bringing him up to a better or to a higher or larger budget, right? And they're saying, hey, you know what? We can do all these awesome effects, right? That you saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League. We'll just do them with Tyler. And here you go, and people will flock to that, and they'll like it and whatever. And a lot of people have. So I think that they want to recast.
Let me bring in Dawson real quick. Dawson's in here. There you go.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
How's everybody doing?
Enoch said he's going to be in a couple of minutes too.
Nice. Cool. See, I knew he was coming, so I had to come at the right time.
I had to show up before him. So.
I had to upstage him. Well, actually, if I wanted to do that, I'd have to come in afterwards. But either way,
but that's like what you were saying, Ryan. Like, but I just mean like even in the sense that like I think the general public even knows Henry Cavill is like the general public doesn't know about all this crap behind the scenes that we all know about.
No, they don't. They don't.
They think Henry Cavill's Superman.
Well, they saw him. Well, not him, but they saw his costume in Shazam. They see his image everywhere on the internet.
Justice League, Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Justice League as well. Henry is willing to do anything because he likes the role. Because he brought in the Mission Impossible director and said, "Hey, let's do something with less. I want to continue to do this character." And Warner Brothers is like, "No, we're good. No, we know what we're doing."
Let's wait till
do you have Sasha Calle on the line? Okay. Yeah. No, thank you, Henry. Sasha.
The only way I think that's going to work in the Flash is that she's from this Earth, and the government has had her because they got her in the past at some point after she came off the ship in Man of Steel, and they had her in the lab like Superman and Flashpoint.
She's the one in the gray spandex. You've seen the spoiler
like cousin. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, like that would work.
You know what? I don't even know if they're going to treat her as a cousin. They might even treat her as just.
I think it's going to be all over the place. I think I don't know, but we'll see.
Who even knows at this point? Honestly,
Suicide Squad made me way less hopeful than I was about.
It's gonna be like,
unfortunately, about the Flash.
What's that symbol mean on your chest? Is that hope? No, it's an S, like in Krypton, bitch.
I'm just gonna look down and say, this symbol stands for what the Krypton equivalent of car keys means.
Oh,
what's up, Drew?
What's up, Drew?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But well, it's we ended up talking about the Snyderverse anyway. But that was my point behind the topic tonight was basically like because I just like I see a lot of people like ready to give up on the whole restore the Snyderverse thing, and I think it's like now is the one time that's the last thing anybody should be doing.
But that's what they want.
Yeah, I mean, there's
exactly
a lot of things. What people have to keep in mind is like, do we know it's a sure thing that's going to happen? No, we don't. But at the same time, there's still a lot of things that need to happen before we can definitively say that it's over, right? We still have the merger to look forward to having been completed.
I mean, Warner Brothers now, no way. It's not going to happen. Like Emmerich, for Emmerich to even let it happen now, like AT&T, for anybody in the general public that's not part of this movement that doesn't know this, AT&T forced them to put Zack Snyder's Justice League out. Yeah. It wasn't their choice. They didn't want it to see the light of day. Right. And there's no way they're going to do it because for them to do it, to restore the Snyderverse in any way, would basically be Emmerich admitting that everything they've done since before BVS came out was one giant fucking mistake. You know what I mean?
And that's one thing in Hollywood that'll end you is acknowledging that you've made a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Then at that point in time, all of your credibility in that sphere is now diminished, gone. You're unreputable and unhireable almost.
I mean, at this point, it's almost to that degree right now as it is without them admitting anything. Like even people in the general public, I've seen all over social media, even the people in general public are saying like, oh, Warner Brothers is unreliable. Like they don't know what they're doing. Like even without them admitting what they did, that's kind of a general consensus amongst people who at least know something about what's going on.
Yeah, especially since the Snyder Cut's come out, it's gotten a lot more known. I mean, people that didn't know anything about it that watched both movies. realized, like, what the hell, like, you know, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's like a totally different movie.
Like, you listen to any influencer out there that's in the nerd community, they literally ask the same question: why didn't we get this in 2017? Why didn't we get this back then? And because of that, their viewers are asking the same question, and their friends are asking the same question. It's a trickle effect, right? Now, as people are asking, why didn't we get this stuff all before then? And now Warner Brothers is like, in fact, I actually had an interesting conversation with somebody in the comic book community. He like works with authors and illustrators and such. We were talking about this after it was after a show of mine, and they were like, yeah, they kind of messed up releasing the Snyder Cut. It was great to have it released for Zack Snyder, but as far as like the pressure they will get, they messed up. Like, if they didn't ever have any pressure for storing the Snyderverse, business wise, they shouldn't have released it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they had this mentality of getting the monkey off their back, and then now they're in a situation where, like, literally, if they keep going the way they are, they're screwed. Because if you think about it, I was actually talking about it on the Sunday podcast today, is if they go in the direction where they want to rewrite everything and get rid of, let's say, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, let's say they do that in The Flash, right? They think they have it bad now with the idea of boycotting. If they do that, it's done. Like, there won't be, like, half the viewing audience, more than half of their viewing audience won't go to their movies in theaters anymore.
I think that's pretty bold.
That's
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah, but what you're saying is completely true. Like I always say, like with the MCU, the whole reason the MCU became what it became and got as successful as it did by Avengers was because they got the Marvel fans first. You know what I mean? They started out with the single movies and they got the Marvel fans on board to where it had the real fans' approval first. And then that it spread out to the general public from there. They had $1 billion franchise by Avengers.
Warner Brothers wanted the general audience involved right away.
Exactly. But the DCU was on a better upward scale if you look at it from Man of Steel to BVS, you know.
DC is easier, right? It's easier because their characters are more well-known than Marvel characters. And that's an advantage to Marvel now. But like back in the day, when it was Paramount was brought us Iron Man, brought us the Incredible Hulk, brought us Thor. That wasn't Disney. They were doing what everyone else was doing as far as like just trying characters out, right? And seeing what worked. And what they were doing was which was innovative back then, was they were trying to interconnect them, not completely, but they had a blueprint. It wasn't the greatest blueprint, but it was still a blueprint that they were using, and it works. And so what they did when Disney bought them out and said, hey, it's a no-brainer. Let's go ahead and do an Avengers movie with these characters who, from what I know, were not actually the actual Avengers. You didn't have Spider-Man, you didn't have Wolverine or whoever else was an Avenger, in the comics or whatever. You had these characters, and they were like, well, just make them the Avengers. And they did. And they struck gold with Loki, because typically when, with all these movies, and they did it, with some of these, and they did them beyond, was that they would kill the villain, kill him off. With Loki, they didn't. With him, because he was such a, I guess a good character. I guess they recognized that. They nurtured that. They grew it, and made him even bigger to where he has his own damn show now.
Yeah,
So I mean,
it's amazing what good character writing will do if you actually give it time. Like that's why I always say to people when talking about the Snyderverse, and they talk about how Zack Snyder's Justice League like makes Man of Steel and BVS make way more sense. It's like, it's kind of funny how if you let a narrative
imagine
continue,
if it would have came out on time.
Yeah, it's amazing though. If you let a narrative continue, it starts to make more sense. It's weird how that works, isn't it?
I swear, WB would have got everything they wanted if they would have just left it the hell alone. I really firmly believe that. I mean, the Flash movie would have happened already. The Cyborg movie.
Yeah, I mean, we're so behind. The Green Lantern Corps, all that. I mean, even the Blue Beetle stuff. I'm sure we would have already done that. Yeah. Because like I said, okay. So with Man of Steel, we have BVS, which some people say, that's Man of Steel too. But to be honest, it's not. It's its own thing. Yeah. And then Justice League is not a Man of Steel sequel. It does center a lot of attention.
Part of his arc, but it's not his.
Yeah, I mean, they could have even been going nuts with these lesser sequels right now, but it all would have been happening under one banner
the
that
point I'm
we all
making is that
approved
they
of,
never,
and, it would have been good. Like,
they never went back to the well and said, okay, let's make another Man of Steel.
yeah,
We have 2 Suicide Squad movies, which, what the fuck? We have 2 Wonder Woman films. We have the second the second Shazam is being filmed. With the second Aquaman is being filmed, but still not Superman, who is supposed to be the hero that they all sort of mimic or admire or whatever. Like, oh no, we don't need him anymore.
Ill and Ryan, I gotta ask you guys a question. Like 20 years ago, right? Would you have ever imagined that in a certain universe you would have a sequel to Aquaman before you had a sequel to Superman? Would you have ever thought that? No, you wouldn't have.
Well, I mean, I have 4 movies for Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Well,
so,
besides
I already have
Christopher
that.
Reeve, like excluding that, like, if you had a universe where you had a Aquaman sequel before a Superman sequel, you couldn't imagine that because Aquaman wasn't taken seriously back then. Because Superman is the titular character besides Batman in DC Comics. Right, that's the character that you go to.
I think they were too afraid.
Even Batman, for that matter. Now it's like we can't do the real in-universe Batman now because we have this other Batman coming out that was supposed to be that Batman first, but then it got taken over. And
it's because
Batman
it was
on
it
a
was
different Earth, and it's
caught
like
in flux. It was caught. It was in the middle of this whole.
There was even like a 2-week period when
like
Ben Affleck might have been like narrating as the older him. Remember that? And then like that was out the window and shit. It was totally like downhill.
I remember that week where all that stuff was coming out, and I was just, oh my gosh! I remember just being so beside myself, just because being the huge Affleck fan that I am, and I was just waiting.
Bad. I know. I was depressed.
I mean, and then he went on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, and said, "I'm not Batman." That crushed me. I was like, "Dang it, no!" But
and then the haters were coming out of the woodwork, like, "Aha!" Like you jerks like this guy. I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to kill
fun time. And then, look, I'm excited for Robert Pattinson's Batman, but then when they announced that he was the Batman for that movie, I didn't know how to react at first. I looked at my phone and I was like, well, okay, this is a thing. Gotta take some time to process this.
Well, you have another year.
Well, I'm fine now. When I first heard the news, that was my reaction.
I'll tell you what, though, like my whole thing is that I do feel like it's gotten to a point now where I mean, when you look at all the stats from the other countries, it's obvious that the Snyder Cut was a smash success. It probably did better than any other movie streaming and downloads on iTunes and stuff this year. Yeah. Even though Warner Brothers US is pretending none of it ever happened or something. But that being said, I feel like it all really does come down to the old regimes not wanting to admit any fault in all this, and what has gone downhill with the DC universe.
Well, because if they admit fault with Zack Snyder's Justice League, they then admit fault to the Ray Fisher situation. And if they admit fault to the Ray Fisher situation, they admit fault to basically everything else that's being accused. The Justice League reshoots.
And that unfortunately is the reason why David Ayer's cut is still in limbo. Because I don't, and I was talking to somebody else about this, is I really don't see it coming out. I would love it. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be great, but there's not as much of a demand for it like Justice League. Justice League just has pole characters. The biggest character you have in the Suicide Squad is Will Smith, and Will Smith is not as popular as he used to be, and he's playing Deadshot. And the Joker is one of the most popular characters. People liked him, for the people that did get to see Zack Snyder's Justice League. They liked what they saw, but they didn't like what was presented in the Suicide Squad. So therefore, they're not clamoring for, oh my God, we need to see more of that or whatever.
I would argue that there's more general audience pressure to release the Ayer cut than there was for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just because, again, from David Ayer's statement,
there is a lot of Leto fans and
Leto fans, and also people who just saw David Ayer's statement on Twitter talking about his upbringing and what he put into Suicide Squad.
Oh, right? It was really nice.
Well, that was a power move.
That captured a lot of attention. And so I think if Warner Bros. Never releases that, I think that'd almost be a bigger problem for some people than for Zack Snyder stuff. Because again, Zack Snyder wasn't nearly as vocal as David Ayer was about the stuff that he went through. Like Zack Snyder teased some things with pictures. David Ayer's gone
because David was
Zack tried to play ball the whole time,
though.
He really did, and they still
people were really attacking David and his work, and that's the reason. That's I mean, they were just being very, very negative about it because of the new, Suicide Squad movie. They were like, "Yo, I'm so glad that Ayer cut never saw the light of day." Blah blah blah. The test audiences and this and that, and they, just like really throwing, shade at him, right? So he came out and he was like, "You know what? I could come out and be an ass, or I could come out and be genuine." He decided to come out and be genuine, and that got him a lot of support because who's gonna come out against that and be like, "Oh man, you're still a dick." Even though you opened up to us,
I mean,
they're not going to do that.
You kind of proved my point at this point. Like, why?
But they're not. No. They're going to wait. They're going to wait for that to die off because something gets.
That's going to last until the merger. Momentum. That's going to last until the merger, though. So them waiting for it to die off. It's got to last
beyond the merger because the merger doesn't mean it's not a light switch.
I know it's not a light switch, but at that point, like I'm sure David Zaslav's looking at the situation, saying, "Oh, there's this Ayer thing."
Yeah.
So there's no way that's not even on his mind. Like he at least is thinking about it.
I don't think it's on his mind, dude. Because
you don't think he's sitting and looking at social media and seeing trends of fans of the property he's about to take control over.
I don't know necessarily that, but I think the Suicide Squad's numbers are definitely getting looked at. I think the Suicide Squad's numbers are getting looked at, and I do think that's going to start to. I mean, not to promote boycotting or anything, but the wallets work. Like letting them know with our wallets is a way to let them know, to let this new regime coming in know what we want in the future when they take over. And I mean, we keep tweeting, and I mean. Like, I'm not going to lie, I watched the Suicide Squad on HBO Max, but that was it. Like, I haven't watched it again since that first day that it came out or whatever, when I watched it initially. Like, and I just think the numbers won't lie, Like, and I think as a whole, the audience now wants the Snyderverse more than this new crap they're trying to put out. Like, the whole audience, not just...
I don't... See, and I don't... look, the numbers are... It's still weird, obviously, because I do think the pandemic plays a part of it, but... The one thing that the Suicide Squad has going for it is the audience reaction to it is way better to that film than it was to the theatrical 2016 Suicide Squad. So that in itself, I think Warner Brothers is looking at and going, yeah, we'll give it a sequel. Kind of.
I don't think they're going to come back to it. I think they're going to let that one go.
You really?
I think they're going to do more with Harley. Like they'll do They'll do a Sirens. They'll be like, let's team up Harley with.
She's taking a break from a Harley Quinn. Isn't that what she said?
No, then she came out like a day later, and she's like, nope, never mind.
Money talks, man, and they can throw all kinds of money to her.
Even looking at it in a world where we get the Snyderverse and whatever they're doing. Okay, I just think with Zaslav and the new people coming in, like, I mean, look at Netflix. Like, they took Zack Snyder without even an IP and gave him free reign to basically make any movie he wants to make because they see it. Because I feel like most outside business people without the agenda of Toby Emmerich on their desk, like, are going to see it, are going to see what has happened with the online movements and everything.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if we got a report at some point saying like, oh, certain number of studios reached out to Zach after the Snyder Cut came out, including Netflix.
That's what and I feel like Zaslav could have been the head of one of those other studios, and now Zaslav probably sees it,
Zaslav has Zach on his radar. Now that is a given. I don't see that he has David Ayer's Suicide Squad or anything like that.
See, I disagree because how can he not look at social media?
Even if not, after the fact, because him and Zach talk, it'll happen. Like,
to be honest with you, this IP here it's a big IP, but it's not the only IP that Warner Brothers and Discovery own. They own a whole lot of properties. This is just
Sex in the City.
Yeah, excluding Sex and the City. This is just one that is very close and dear to all four of us. We care about this a whole lot more than they do.
I think Enosh is here, huh?
Yeah. Oh no, he sensed my presence.
I gotta scroll down, pop him in here.
And bring
I
in
didn't want to leave him down there like
lounge.
Phil last week. I didn't realize he was down there for a while.
Dawson, I smelled you before I even decided to come in.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that statement right there. That
I smelled you all the way over here.
How you doing, Enosh? How's your day going?
I'm awake.
There you go.
Now,
that's a start.
Now
Me too,
I'm awake.
Well, see, I put him to sleep on the Sunday podcast, so that's kind of my fault.
That going into the almost third hour, I was like, yeah, oh, that's right. I didn't see What If. Okay, I'm gonna take a nap while Dawson talks about What If. I can't remember what else we were talking about. Oh, Shang-Chi. You want to talk about Shang-Chi? Okay, I'm gonna take a nap.
The Eternals. Yep. Nah.
No, you go ahead and talk about Eternals, Dawson. I'm good. Thank you.
Marvel's Justice League.
Oh, what?
Marvel's Justice
League.
They were a little shameless with the Man of Steel copying in that trailer.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Marvel's got an advantage though. They don't have a whole bunch of hate, so they can just do. I mean, look at what they did with Vision and Man of Steel. You know, that whole Zod, Vision, or I'm sorry, Zod Superman fight. They put it directly in the movie, almost. Verbatim. Shot for shot. A lot of the same and the same feel. The same tone.
Yeah, they actually want to make a movie that looks like Superman.
Yeah, and I mean, but they get praised for it. They don't get ridiculed for copying, other films or whatever. So, I mean, and they did it with the first What If. They took some stuff from Wonder Woman and said, hey, make
Dude, that was crazy. Yeah, I saw those comparison videos.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up on it, but I hadn't seen the comparisons yet. And when I saw the comparisons, I was like, well, no shit.
I didn't even notice it when I was watching the episode, and then I saw the comparisons later, and I was like, "Dang!"
I haven't even seen the comparisons, but I'm sure.
Dope build.
Build. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
He wasn't talking about you, Ryan.
What Dawson was saying about the air cut, though, Ryan. I agree in the sense that I think you're right that maybe it's not on the radar now, but I do think Zach is, like you said.
Yeah,
and
I think
if
Zach is
Zaslav
on your radar.
and Zach end up having a sit down, I think
Zach would have to be
part of that.
Would be the one to broker that.
That's what I mean.
Deal,
yeah, because
right?
the air cut's ready to be on the table while other stuff is getting worked on. So why not? Why wouldn't they?
Here's the thing. After Air made that statement on Twitter, you remember all the reports that came out from different sites and news reporters?
A lot of people wanted to jump on board and say that they
all those different journalists, right? And the articles that came out, there's no way that Zaslav didn't at least see one of them regarding
of
in charge of.
No. You've got so many.
It's on his radar.
He's got so many things that's probably on his
seems like
plate.
He's interested, like he's paying attention.
So I haven't seen anything other than him mentioning Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman that one time. That's the only time that I've seen or heard, rather, Zaslav bring up DC properties.
Isn't that the only time we've heard him really speak since the merger announcement?
There you go. But so what you're doing is you're inferring. I mean, and I'm doing the same thing, but you're inferring that he's tapped in and listening to us, and hey, I mean at least I don't think he's that plugged in. He's a businessman.
He's my friend. Look, Zaslav is my friend. I've got him on speed dial. We actually watched AEW on Friday night together. You didn't see him; he was just off screen. He was just as excited for CM Punk as I was.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's tapped in, looking to everything, but what I am saying is that he'd be stupid not to at least be up to date on some things.
I can agree with that. I can agree with your statement there. He would be stupid if he didn't, but I don't believe he is.
Well, there were some executives that were wondering how Superman was going to get back to Krypton. So we can all hope that that's not the case. But
oh god, that was the biggest what the F moment.
That article.
When I read that article, I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
That article coming out was the closest I've ever gotten to drinking.
He was like, "Give me a milk, chocolate,
make it warm."
Make it warm. Oh no, gross. Warm chocolate milk? What are you talking about? No, at that point, just give me a hot chocolate. Gosh dang. With some cinnamon.
He's like, restore the Snyder first, dag nabbit.
But that, no,
Last
but
night,
like,
Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me I needed to restore the Snyderverse.
Or he'll
I-
eat my
I-
brain.
I do think to like
That's Zaslav.
Yeah.
Oh, you
a-
melt my brain.
to a business
I'm
person
melting.
looking
Hey, let's
from the
keep
outside
that
in. like,
brain melting stuff to a minimum. All right.
Yeah, that's Toby Emmer telling him that.
Toby
But,
in the back.
But no, but like I said, like I do think like to the perspective of a business person looking at this whole thing from the outside in, like if Zaslav is like someone in those shoes, like the numbers don't lie. Like if you look like at the DC universe, movie universe as like a business since Man of Steel till now, with the exception of Aquaman, which was probably the closest attached to the Snyderverse out of the post Snyderverse movies, really, if you think about it. They all made more money than everything they've done since. You know, really, I mean, and I feel like probably have continued to make more money in like downloads and DVD sales and Blu-ray sales and all that too since then.
But
you know,
ill life. If you could just come in a little bit. Here's the thing, man. Batman v Superman should have made $2 billion.
Oh my gosh, I hate that argument so much.
It's Batman
I
and
think it
Superman
has.
together in a movie.
I think it has. To date, it probably has.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean,
yeah.
in its first weekend, it should have made $2 billion.
Yeah, I know.
Now,
Because it's got
the way that
Batman
I
and
see
Superman together,
the
in
way
a
that I
movie.
can see is David A's Suicide Squad being released is after Zack makes an announcement for the continuation of like Zack, Justice League 2.
Justice League, yeah.
Because then, because if I'm Warner Brothers and I release, I'll go ahead and release the air cut, right? Without doing that extra step with Zack, then all I'm doing is making these fans like chant more, restore the Snyderverse. And that's something that these guys, they don't want to hear, right? So if they do, if they do agree to Zack and bring him back, then yeah, he would broker a deal and say, hey, release David's, cut because that really fits in with my stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's the only way I can see it getting released. Other than, if they need money way down the line, a couple years, 5, 10, 20, whatever, just like the Donner cut, they release that, it's because it means nothing at that point in time.
I mean, in similar fashion to the Snyder cut, it's sitting there.
It's collecting dust.
It's not going to exactly like it's something that could make money for them with little
But
effort.
but
and
but
money
the thing
put
is
into
if
it,
they release it, then what does
Much
that
less
mean?
effort than Zack
right?
Yeah, that's what I said exactly.
Well,
That's why none of it will happen under
reason,
Emmerich. Like,
it's the same reason Hamada won't issue a simple apology to Ray Fisher.
yeah,
Because again, he'd have to admit.
I mean,
faults.
yeah, in the real world, like how much of a hardship is that to just say, hey, Ray, you know what? We're sorry that things happened on the set. We apologize for any parts that certain people played in it. I mean, Hamada could even say, look, I wasn't there at the time. I apologize for any.
I mean, Bird just did it personally, and
yeah.
Ray laid off of him. I mean, like
just I apologize for any inconvenience I had. When trying to bring across the investigation.
I think
you're done. But
I think
like
Ray
said,
sort of nailed it in the coffin when he said, "Don't not just an apology to me, but an apology to everybody else that you tried to thwart." Because that's what Hamada did when he came in. He was like, "I don't believe this guy could do anything." Yeah, no more communication.
But that's the thing. Like in the real world, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But to say that admits some kind of guilt, and they can't bring themselves to do that.
And also if they release the air cut, they've got all these films in the work: Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, Black Adam, The Flash, which is working with some of these characters. They'd have to maybe retool some of this shit.
Yeah.
And that means that they would have to again course correct. They course corrected already. They'd have to course correct again. And what does that make them?
Well, they're going to anyways because
that's why correcting the course again as we speak.
No. What I'm saying is the course correction now that they have for the Flash.
Right now, they're just throwing courses at the wall
again before it comes out.
Well, if it was a true multiverse, they wouldn't have to, Ryan.
Okay.
But see, they don't believe in that. They don't believe in that.
They don't believe in that. They really don't.
But no, I do firmly believe that the only way any of it happens is Zaslav coming in and Emmerich being out. I don't see any of it happening under Emmerich.
Like if Zaslav comes in and Toby Emmerich is not taken out of Warner Brothers within a couple of years, I'd say it's probably not going to happen.
Just jump off a bridge.
Again, right. In that, like, if HBO, like, Max takes a massive dip or something in the next year or so, maybe he'll go, all right, maybe like
well, see, they got Blue Beetle, they got Batgirl,
right.
they have they're stocking that up too. They're like, hey, we need content, so they're playing the long game and hoping that people will just kind of go back and just conform.
Look over here. Don't look over here.
Dawson and I were talking about that though earlier too, though, on the Sunday podcast, though, just like and I was mentioning the fact that they're dropping the ball even on those like side characters because they're not truly developing the side characters. They're getting ahead of the game. They don't have their main characters established in any kind of universe. They've confused the entire fandom, and then they're like, hey, but here's Blue Beetle. Well, nobody knows who Blue Beetle is. I mean, people know who Blue Beetle is, but like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't established the other characters. And if Marvel did anything well, it was they established their main characters. You had your main set, and then they started down this route of hey, here's some other characters that you may not know, but you trust us because you've seen what we've done with these characters, and we've made these characters important to you. Try out these characters. If you like this, try out our other product, and people liked it. And,
that's what I was saying earlier.
But then too, they haven't even done a good job of that because, like with Blue Beetle, for example, like they're giving movies, even if it is an HBO Max movie, they got no business giving a whole movie to just one person like that, or and like Black Canary like this, right? I mean, seriously, I love Black Canary.
She will not wear fishnet.
I love Birds of Prey, but here's the thing. A Black Canary movie, and maybe it will, I don't know, but it should probably have Green Arrow in there. A Blue Beetle movie should probably have a Booster Gold in there, so you have a couple of characters you're developing together. You can make that buddy cop movie that they were talking about making a few years ago, whatever, that makes sense, instead of trying to make a and I don't know if they're trying to make a franchise, but you're giving a whole thing to one character that nobody knows about that much as well, and it's
they're taking that bet of like Shazam. Because, they even changed the character, recently, Captain Marvel to Shazam, and they were throwing a bet on that, right? They did the same thing with Birds of Prey.
I just now read the Truth 31s. It's been a while since I talked to Truth. I miss Truth, man. I got to catch up with you, Truth. There's a couple funny things I got to tell you that have happened.
But to Yanash's point, though, there's a reason why the MCU can now do things like Guardians of the Galaxy and Shang-Chi. There's a reason why they can do things like that because, like Yanash was saying, Shang-Chi. There's a reason why they can.
Because they've earned
it's pronounced Shang-Chi.
That's why.
All right, shut up, Ryan. But, again, there's a reason why they can do that.
The pronunciation is Shang.
No,
Shang,
no.
Right?
Anyway,
like Chang. It's not Chang.
Okay. Anyway,
Chang.
I honestly have no idea.
Shut the hell up.
Like Wang. Like a Wang.
Dude.
Stop. So years ago, I had a customer. His name was Dr. Wong, and everybody at the printing shop that I was
his first name Somting?
No. This is actually kind of cool. This is actually kind of. Oh my gosh. Dude.
I wish I knew how to do drops. I haven't learned yet.
Okay. Well,
you know what, Dawson? That's the funniest thing I think I've heard you say this month. We'll say this whole month.
Oh,
that was pretty good. That was good. I like something.
Well, if you think that's funny, Ryan, you should have saw a couple of weeks ago on the podcast when somebody chimed in and said that their friend Nick, it was his birthday. Nick, last name Kerr, and
it's Gurr.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And I believe it was K.
No, it was G. I remember.
He had you pronounce it that
way. That's not funny.
But Dawson read it and said happy birthday to him.
No. I said Nick Gers.
No.
I said that.
Why did you say it again? Okay, thank you. I'm going.
No, I'm giving you an understanding of what was written, and I said it that way.
Anyway.
I said it in the way.
I
said it in the way that
they
didn't anticipate me
See you
saying. I said
later.
it in a pronounced way.
Thank you, everybody.
It didn't work.
Thank you, Will, for inviting me to the show. That's I do not affiliate with this person to my right.
Nope. I'm done. I'm out.
All right, whatever.
Anyways, I had a customer at the printing shop. I sold this guy like this project. It was like $15,000. He was telling his entire family history in Chinese, and so like it was like a thick like leather bound book that he did, and he did like 300 copies of this thing for like all of his family and friends and stuff. But he was a doctor, and his last name was Wong, but everybody kept calling him Dr. Wang. And I kept trying to explain to everybody his name is Wong, but it was W-A-N-G. And so everybody kept calling him Dr. Wang. This guy's spending $15,000 and everybody keeps calling him Dr. Wang. I'm just like, oh.
Something Wong.
Wang, tomato. Yeah.
Wait. It's all the same.
So what were we talking about? Hamada?
I was making the point that Enosh kind of started off on the fact that there's a reason why the MCU can do Shang-Chi and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Shang-Chi. Right.
Shut up. Because they established their main characters. They established Iron Man. They established Captain America. They established Thor. They established their 10-pole characters for their universe, and they branched off from there to do those other things. Whereas the DCEU, Superman only has one movie. Batman doesn't even have a movie. Wonder Woman has 2 movies. The Flash is barely getting his own movie. Cyborg doesn't have his own movie. Green Arrow or Green Lantern don't have their own movies. And you're trying to do yeah. But now you're trying to branch out and do Blue Beetle and Black Canary and try to say, "Oh, we've built a universe." It's like
they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what's going to.
They really are.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean,
it's like if someone had a time machine and went to like 5 different points of the Marvel universe and grabbed like the lowest movie of the year out of each place.
They're
like,
treating
there you go. There's a universe.
They're treating their franchise that they have like a redheaded stepchild. They don't want to touch it, but they need to touch it because it's money. So they're not developing.
Wait, why is redhead stepchild money?
Because redheads make money. So basically, so they stopped production on the look, NAACP is where you need to make the apology, Dawson. I agree with Truth on this one.
Where do you need to make the apology for touching redheaded children?
I don't touch redheaded children. I said redheads make money.
But then you said they need to touch it.
No,
they're not going to touch it if it doesn't.
They're not going to touch it, and I'm not going to.
It doesn't make money.
Nobody's going to touch it.
Nobody's touching it.
Nobody's touching it. Nobody's going to touch it.
Hands off the redhead.
Check.
But I mean, they're not even going for like their character like Nightwing. They had that. They threw that out. They were going to do.
Sad day for Ryan.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, you guys.
Because it was probably. Cool? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's probably going to suck. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't.
Me too.
And the same thing, they had the New Gods, threw that out, and that could have been cool, but who knows?
That was the Snyder Cut's fault.
Well, it is. Well, because they were gonna
probably because she wanted to use Ray Porter and be in the Snyderverse. That was probably the problem.
It could have been.
Yeah,
it could have been. I mean, she never approached him, but they did have dialogue, back and forth. So, but yeah, I mean that could have, but it was easy. If they were going to cancel it, the timing was good. They also canceled the trailer, so I think they were going to cancel it anyway.
Yeah.
But the Snyderverse or Zack Snyder's Justice League was just a convenient excuse for them to just dismiss that.
And a way for them to try to demonize the Snyderverse. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a Warner Brothers like an obvious Twitter account that was like a Warner Brothers troll the other day, because you can always tell because like
it was Warner Brothers Pictures.
Well, no, but you go to their account and they'll have like 2 followers, and their account will only exist for like a week or something. Like I feel like that's like Warner Brothers plans. But anyway,
well, my friend
he literally blamed Suicide Squad on Zach because of the credits, the opening credits.
Geez.
He was like, "Oh, Zach produced this," like tried to act like.
My friend Johnny Pop for like 3 days, he had that Ann Sarnoff account that everybody was like giving a hard time, that like it turned out it was my friend Johnny that Ann Sarnoff account that was like posting all kinds of junk to people and stuff, saying like, "But guys, you don't understand what we got. What we have is so much better than the Snyder Cut and stuff." And people were getting all pissed off, and so finally Twitter took him down for being a bogus. Because he tried to say that he was a parody account. He even put it out there that he was a parody account, but people were getting all pissed off at him, and like I didn't even realize like people were so pissed off, and then all of a sudden like Johnny told me, he's like, "Yeah, that was me." Like,
that's really funny though.
You guys want to see something funny? You guys want to see something that's even funnier? Here we go. I just changed my studio.
He's mocking me.
Okay.
I moved my chair.
Hey, I got rid of another desk and moved to another desk.
So Lindsay took out the
I did all
laundry
of
baskets.
I did all of this.
and the ironing board. She took this out of her room. And he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna take the rest of the room then."
Confirmed.
It's gonna be funny when she puts it back.
Studio change again.
Right. There you go.
I'm sorry. I know. Well, you know what, Dawson? It looks like you got a lot more room in there now for all kinds of activities.
Yes, exactly.
I'm boxing.
But you know,
here.
Dawson, you know, the shame is, Dawson, the shame
it's like
is
my
though,
apartment
now when you start talking about your toys, you won't be able to just like lean back over here and like grab one of your toys now.
Well, you know, it makes it a fun trip. Makes my exercise for the day if I didn't get any exercise.
It's weird. The way your camera is, it looks a lot closer than it is behind you. Like it looks like you could reach back and grab, but then when
it looks like I grabbed Darkseid right here, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
that
like
looks
closer than it is. Yeah,
Plastic man it.
Plastic man.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah,
And that's another one I haven't heard anything about. So
that's true.
And it's another ancillary character that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah,
like, they were like, "Hey, let's produce that one." Okay.
Yeah,
Plastic Man is in development. Like
with a female lead. It's like, so wait, it's not Plastic Man then.
Well, he's gender fluid. He can make whatever parts he wants.
I mean, and like to be honest with you, you got the Michael B. Jordan movie coming out. You know that's if he's still going to play the Val-Zod, yeah, it's going to be on HBO Max.
Show, yeah, series.
It's HBO Max. But they're like, yeah, let's develop that.
Henry,
no, Henry, we don't need you. Thank you.
I can already see the tagline for Plastic Man. Plastic Man. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
I can see that for Squirrel Girl.
Well, no, I mean, you know, like he can make whatever he wants. He can make whatever he wants at any time. He's Plastic Man.
Right.
Wow.
But even like the Green Lantern not getting anything is like total like them being reactionary as usual. The reason nothing Green Lantern has happened till now is because of the failure of the Ryan Reynolds movie. Yeah, and it still echoes.
And
to this day.
You know what? I bought the movie. The extended edition, I support it because it was something other than Superman or Batman. I was like, holy shit!
I mean, it's not horrible. Like, yeah, I mean,
it's not a good story.
No, I told Dawson today, look, if you take the fart cloud out, you take the weird looking Hector character out. Yeah, you take that out. There is a movie in there, and there is a good movie in there. The special effects are pretty good.
The score needs to be changed as well because that was shit.
Okay.
All the guitar.
Like, I like the whole going to Oa, the training, all that.
I liked Mark Strong. I thought he was a very convincing Sinestro.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I liked Kilowog, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yep.
I liked even that guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. Recycler. There you go. I like that one. That one's a good tagline. But yeah, no, I liked Tomare. I love Tamora Morrison as freaking Amon Sur or Abin Sur. He was Abin Sur.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I thought making him look like the alien he did with the three fingers and I thought that was cool. I was like, holy shit, they really did. I mean, the special effects were pretty damn awesome. Yeah, special effects were pretty awesome.
The stuff on
I mean, especially for the time. I mean, like
the stuff on Oa and the Green Lantern stuff in general. I mean, like if you got to do CGI for the suits, I guess. I mean, that looked fine.
I thought it was interesting how like the suits sort of showed the musculature, the bands of muscle tissue.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. I was like, wow, that's interesting. It's inventive. It's different.
Made it look more alien-y. Like
it did look a lot more
like,
alien-ish, yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why Zach put his Kilowog, which also was a cool design. I like his as well. But that's one of the reasons why they were like, no, it has to have a real suit. Yeah. Even though they were going to be CG suits, they weren't that type of CG,
Yeah.
They actually looked like
the Guardians looked great too.
I liked the Guardians. I thought they were great. I thought that the Guardian that became Parallax I thought that was a horrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That was stupid. The Parallax in general was a horrible idea for this. Look, they didn't fight anything. They fought a giant fart cloud. And I never got into that. I could never.
It punched it into the sun.
Oh,
it just wasn't interesting at all.
It should have just been the Sinestro story.
They
were trying to save it for a part 2.
You know what would have been better? You know what would have been better is you start off with that Parallax story, right? You start off with it, but it's not your whole movie. It's the first few minutes of the movie, and you show Sinestro fighting. You see the beginning of Hal Jordan, like Hal Jordan joins, right? Hal Jordan joins, and then this Parallax thing happens, but they all come together and they beat Parallax real quick. They beat the fart cloud real quick, and then it develops where Sinestro gets the yellow ring and does that, and that's the rest. That's the main part of the movie. You just make the fart cloud thing just a.
I wouldn't have even
afterthought.
I wouldn't have even. I would have kept him as a lantern, Green Lantern the whole time. Not even seeing the Yellow Lantern. I would have brought that up maybe second or third movie. Like second movie, he goes to the planet where they mine for that, or whatever, and just take it from what was that Green Lantern series that they had, or the First Flight. I mean, that was a pretty damn good Sinestro story, showing, he's in there. The
Green Lantern First Flight is the movie that Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie should have been.
Yeah, it was a coup. He had convinced other Green Lanterns of his cause. It would have been more interesting than the big Parallax cloud and the sun with the jets and all that stupid crap, because it was anticlimactical, but there was no connection. That's what made the story weak. It was just like this big thing going to the planet, and this big guy with a extra head is messing with his girlfriend, and and he had penis envy, and it was like that was it. It wasn't good.
And his dad was look like Robbins, he was a jerk. That was Waller's debut too. The first Waller.
Yes, and fantastic actress, but Vivica
too sexy.
Fox. Too sexy.
No, it wasn't Vivica Fox.
Angela Bassett.
It wasn't Angela. Yeah, okay,
Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Too sexy though for Waller. She did a great job as Waller, but like she was pretty sexy. I mean,
I agree.
Angela Bassett is a beautiful woman.
Like the best Waller that we've had so far is in David Ayer's Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
This new Waller wasn't Waller for the Suicide Squad here, because she got bitch slapped a couple times, and and she,
I don't care if it's her cousin or not. She would have shot her.
Like they physically assaulted her.
She would have systematically destroyed those people.
Oh yeah.
Instead of promoted them to like, oh hey, watch.
They literally hit her in the back of the head. She's not going to let that go lightly if it's the real version of Waller.
Yeah, no, she's just going to put a ice pack on her and just kind of scowl.
It's okay. Yeah. Here, take this Peacemaker.
Here's your promotion.
Yeah, that's the only reason she didn't kill them, was because we need you guys around for the Peacemaker series. That's all we need you for.
Yeah,
it's like
it just reminded me of like, okay, this is like the guys, that one agent guy from WandaVision. This is their agents that are going to be interacting with Peacemaker.
Isn't that Agent Wong? Isn't that his name?
I think it's Wong.
Like
I think it's Wang.
Wang, like Shang-Chi. Right, got it.
Yeah, like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Or is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chai?
Shang-Chi. It could be Shang-Chi. Wow, man. You know what? That opens up a whole new can of worms.
He has a latte.
No, but I was saying, speaking of the Green Lantern thing,
It is pronounced Shang. Look
I'll
it
tell
up.
you,
Shang-Chi. Got it.
Is
Sean?
it
Like Shaun of the Dead?
like Shaun the Sheep?
Sean.
Sean.
That doesn't sound very
Shang with a G.
Sean with a G. Sean with a G.
I think it's pronounced like a
Sean
U,
with a G. So it's Sean G. Sean G.
Shang-Chi.
Sean G. Like the Fonz, Fonzie.
I quit. I quit. I give up.
He comes in, hits the 10 rings, and they turn on.
hey.
Sit on it.
Monday, Tuesday, happy day.
No, but I'm really hoping with the this Green Lantern core series that they're doing, like knowing that Guy Gardner's going to be in it, I really, really, really hope we get like a whole Red Lantern storyline and Guy Gardner becoming.
I'm not going to boycott it because of Jeff Johns. His ass is all over it. Just like he's all over.
Yeah, I know.
Shree in the chat. Did you not see the post-credit scene of the Suicide Squad?
Surprise.
Because spoiler, Peacemaker's not dead.
Yeah, I mean, Andre had to tell Dawson to actually go back and watch the end credit scene because he didn't even know.
Yeah. So Peacemaker's not dead.
I didn't know until the second viewing.
Shree just turned it off.
Yeah, he's like, I can't.
That's what I did the first time.
I'm out.
Yeah, like legitimately, Shree, there's a post-credit scene and he's alive. Yeah, Shree just like, what?
Shree was today years old when she found out the Peacemaker was still alive.
Yeah, that's why they're still around. You know, those assistants are still around because they need to be in that show because it follows up after the movie.
Yeah, because if they hadn't kept,
I'm sure if you look it up on YouTube, it's
the only connective tissue would just be John Cena, which is fine because it would just be a John Cena show. They don't need you don't even need those people. They could be just brand new agents that are assigned to him.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really get invested in these people. Like, I don't care.
But it needs someone to have history with him.
You liked the movie. Did you care about those two agents? No. Did you care about enough to see them in the Peacemaker show? Okay, that's all.
No. I'll give you that. I think probably they kept. Was it Aggie because of his relationship with Gunn? He's good friends with Gunn. Is he? He's like in all of his movies or whatever. So that's probably why they kept him around. I can't think of why they kept no, like you said, those characters, they are expendable. They could have actually absolutely made new agents.
Yeah, and it would have been just fine watching him interact with other people.
I guarantee you the only reason they're keeping them around is so they can make a couple references to Corto Maltese in the movie. Like, we know what happened there. It's like, we understand what you're
but you could still do that.
You could.
New agents.
I know you could, but I'm sure that's the reason.
I find it hard to even believe that they're actually like agents.
Like
they actually work for a while, or
that's the job we got. So.
Yeah, like they seem like they could be like actor B and C in any generic office setting in a movie, but like they're playing secret agents in this one that are supposed to be.
I'm sorry, but the big guy, the one that played King Shark, I'm sorry, he looks just like a overweight gamer.
Yeah, that's Aggie. That's the one that I think he's friends with Gunn. That's why I think they kept him around. That's
and the same thing like Weasel. I thought Weasel should have been Pauly Shore. Because that would have made so much more sense.
I think Weasel should have stayed dead.
Yes, I agree with that too. I thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
It was for a joke, but it wasn't funny.
I think and then it calls the question in the movie like, at all. Like
it just calls the question like, at what point did he wake up and walk away?
Right? Yeah. Was this like a week later? Was this like a couple hours?
Night?
And then he just like went into the forest.
It was probably that. It was probably at the end of that because the span of their landing on the beach was only for 2 days. Or I'm sorry, they landed on the beach that night. Then they went to the club. They went to that nightclub. So that's night 2. So it was only for 2 days. So he was on the shore for 2 days.
He was unconscious with water in his lungs for 2 days.
In a James Gunn movie that works.
Some integrity. I'll tell you what. Hey, this guy right here, integrity. This dude,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
he's one of the most like not give up to restore the Snyder.
Oh, yeah,
I
ever
freaking
seen,
love
man. He's like,
integrity, man.
Well, then don't
Every
watch
time he
the
shows
first
up.
part of the show.
Right.
he'll go into someone's chat that's like against it and just be like, "It's happening. Deal
Zach
with it."
is
Like,
back.
yeah, Zach is
Yes.
back. Yeah,
Zach is back.
he's great. Man.
Oh man.
But I definitely think like if I had to say, I'll even go around the horn and say on like a scale of 1 to 100%, what you think the chances are for the future of continuation, them reaching back out to Zach, and I'm talking in any sense, even as a producer overseeing.
So
anything,
I would say post Zaslav and
that's what I
everything,
mean.
the
Yeah,
dust is
yeah.
settled. Okay, yeah.
I think once that happens, I think Emmerich's definitely out of here. I think that's why he's already been looking for a job.
He better
And
be.
I think taking him out of the equation is going to change a lot. And I think we're going to see the landscape change again and hopefully back into the direction we want and Zach being involved. And I'd give it like a 70% chance, I think. But I think we can't give up either. I think we need to be part of making
keep that push
happen
going.
still. Yeah, keep the push going. Absolutely. Yep.
It's just like the designer for the Batmobile who put out the picture of Ben Affleck recently, the unseen one. He said he put it out there because the conversation about the Snyderverse has to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
people working on the movies are saying the same thing.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, for the most part, like I do see a lot of people jumping ship, but I also see a lot of new people coming on. Because
that's the thing that Zach has had been fortunate to grasp is he has new fans that have grown into watching this stuff, right? What's up, Mary? So a lot of kids are kind of coming of age or whatever, and they're sort of watching this stuff, and they're getting into it, and they're like, wait a minute, this can't end, So yeah, I mean,
happy birthday,
I'll
Mary.
defer to Dawson. Dawson, what is your percentage?
Yeah, who do you think?
Oh, so you're chickening out here, Ryan? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll come in. I'm gonna come in.
You don't want to go second, right?
So when Zaslav comes in, and if he gets rid of Emmerich, like we're pretty confident that he does, I would give it probably about 75 to 80% chance of it continuing. But if Zaslav comes in and Emmerich's not gone, I'd give it about a 20.
Okay. That's my general consensus. As long as Emmerich's in the way, it can't happen. That's
right.
Because
Zach won't want to come back if Emmerich's in the picture.
Exactly that too. Yeah, but I don't see Emmerich ever, like I said, like him admitting that he's wrong, him admitting that the Snyderverse is successful and they want it to continue because they're going to make money off it, which they will. But at the same time, it's admitting that BVS was a mistake, Suicide Squad was a mistake, Justice League was a mistake, and everything they've tried to do to steer away from it. Every hit piece article they've dropped in the last 5 years, everything, it's like it's basically putting his job on a silver platter to the higher ups, I feel like. So it'll never happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Austin.
I'm with this. It's
100%. Wow.
Yeah, 100%. I think 60%. I mean, I definitely. I think there's a possibility that. Well, first of all, I don't think Emmerich's going to stick around because, like Illive said, he's already been looking for.
Oh, you got muted.
Yeah, you cut up for a sec.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think Emmerich's going to stick around, but if for some god unknown reason he does, I mean, I think there's a possibility that if Zaslav is a good enough, businessman that maybe he can work something out where like Zach comes back and he just does not communicate, see, or work with or have anything to do with Toby, like he's in his own corner and keep, David's the middleman. There is very much that possibility as well for some, like I said.
They could keep it completely separate. I mean, it could be separate universes completely, I mean.
But also, I don't see Toby staying around, so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I'd say like 60%.
That's a fair amount.
Let's see. That's 100%.
It's integrity.
There you go. Agreed.
Well,
and I also agree with what Truth said here. Ryan pointed it out when he said, "Doesn't Zach have updated storyboards of Just League 2 and 3?" He does. He have updated storyboards what he wants to do, and I agree. If he reveals that, then I'd say it's safe to say that it's over.
Well, it's the same thing with the Green Lantern footage of Wayne T. Carr. Yes. If he releases that, because that's in this, and it's complete. All he did, all the visuals and everything was done. If he releases it for everybody to see, like he has, a lot of other things that he's done in the past, then he's pretty much written.
I think that depends on when he would release that, like what the timing of that would be. Like if he releases that footage before the merger is complete, then I'd say that's not a given. But if it's after the merger is complete, then I'd say, okay, yeah, you have a fair statement there.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it'd be fair to assume that the storyboards could change yet again. Even
they could change.
Well, the Jon Stewart thing has nothing to do with the storyboards, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Those are two different. Yeah, those are two different.
Talking about the storyboards,
reveals, right? So again, like Truth said this. We said this. Back when when he talked about the storyboards. He released them when we were going to go see him in Dallas. That he had some that he was, keeping away from people just in case. Mm-hmm. So I'm at 50% just because he's got a lot on his plate right now, and he's got nobody really, in that sphere that is clamoring for it. So that's why, he made the deal with Netflix, as far as, giving them the first, first look?
First look, yeah.
Yeah. And so I would love to see it. It would be awesome, but I think that the roadmap that Warner Brothers has right now, they've put in place to where it's going to be very difficult for somebody to come in and say, you know what, everything that you guys have done, we can scrap it and go back to this. Plus, you've got all the actors that are going to be in, Jason Momoa, he's doing Aquaman 2. Yeah, that's great. But he's also going to do Dune 2 probably, if that's successful. And Gal, she's always busy. Henry's doing a whole bunch of stuff. He's about to do Highlander, and he's going to do more of The Witcher and all that. And so you have all these actors, and Ben's probably going to be hella busy either directing or acting or whatever. So what I'm saying is, like, they can't. It's not that they can't find time to do it, but for all of them to be able to come back.
It'd be a lot of work to get.
It'd be a lot of work, a lot of scheduling to do.
Which is
money talks,
but it definitely is.
It's not impossible. Yeah, no, it's completely not impossible. I'm just saying, because of the release, the Snyder Cut.
I mean, they did it to the Snyderverse. So.
They did. Yeah. And so because of everything that they've done to it to try to thwart it, to destroy it, I think they're going. The last ditch effort is to allow time. Time is not on the side of the Snyderverse being restored, because 5 years down the line for them to come back and do another Justice League 2, I think interest might not be there. And I think that after Batgirl, Blue Beetle, Shazam 2, Black Adam, all that, maybe they have built something different that they're like, you know what, we don't need to go and do this anymore. So
that's what they're banking on.
That's what they're banking on. Yes.
Yeah. I just don't see it happening though.
And as far as Toby Emmerich, him, reaching out or whatever, that's a lot of people do to sort of make themselves look a little bit more, what do I want to say, enticing to, sign.
Trying to raise their value.
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm looking elsewhere, guys. You really want me? I'm a name that I'm huge. Toby Emmerich is big. Yeah. He's huge in this sphere. So, for him to leave, it's kind of like Kathleen Kennedy. Bitch ain't going nowhere. Her contract is up this year. I don't know what quarter. I think December. Unless she has something better on the horizon, they're going to re-sign her. It's just the same thing. These people are old regime. They've been in this business for way too damn long, and they're not going to put themselves in a position where they're just outs. If he was on the outs, we'd already be seeing, like, they're making a transition for him to work, to leave. We haven't seen anything. Or same thing with Hamada. Hamada's not going anywhere. He's in a secure position for now. His position is a little bit more dicey when it comes to, like, if his projects don't perform. What's up, Ryan? If his projects don't perform, then yes, he can lose his job or get demoted or be placed somewhere else or whatever. But Toby Emmerich is a different story. He's just huge. Zaslav, you have to have real issue with Toby, not just how he's dealt with, DC content, but how he's dealt with Matrix or how he's dealt with
it's a lot,
Harry
Potter,
Fantastic Beasts, all this other shit. It's not just like, well, what did you do to Snyder? Oh, you've been bad to Snyder? It's not that simple. It's not that small, because there's a whole big universe that he, and they just didn't they just acquire Max? Isn't that what it's called? HBO Max. They have Cinemax now. They have all that content, a whole bunch of content. So it's not just that he's not going to be just judged on how he handled the Snyderverse. He's going to be judged on how he's handled the company overall. And if Zaslav has an issue with that, then he's out. But if Zaslav doesn't, then he's good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it depends how much he's looking, but I do feel like, I think the Snyder cut was huge. I really do. I mean, if you look at the China numbers, I don't think the
this thing was
numbers are much different.
It was gigantic. It was bigger than they could imagine.
That's it.
They don't want to give it credit.
People still about Batman vs Superman. Still talked about.
If it was just Toby, if Toby was the only one, like, guys, it was a failure, but everyone else in the company was like, no, that shit was dope. You need to look at this, whatever. Yeah. It would be completely different. Nobody's saying anything. Everybody's saying that they've released all this extra stuff. Like I said, they had that one Samba thing come out and to make Zack Snyder's Justice League look horrible, because they were like, look how Suicide Squad did. Fantastic. Look at Wonder Woman 84. Fantastic. Not as much as Suicide Squad, but it's still fantastic. Look at Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I kind of feel like a lot of that's all falling downward from Emmerich. Because Emmerich was the one that was actually attached to all of it going wrong. Like, Hamada came in after the fact. Not that he was attached to Hamada up or anything, but I'm just saying. I think it's rolling downward.
Was connected to it. Sujihara, the only reason why that motherfucker's not there is because of the bullshit he was doing outside the walls of company. But had he not been doing that, he'd probably still have his job.
He'd probably still be there too.
Yeah.
But that's my final word.
I think if Emmerich was out of the way, even if Hamada was still there, the Snyderverse could exist parallel to the Hamada.
It could definitely,
if Emmerich was out of the way.
Like we've always said, it's very, very smart. What we've always said is like, it could live on HBO Max.
Yeah,
but they don't even want that.
It could be a black label.
Like we're cool with not having a theatrical release. Release it on here, but they're not going to do it because it's this barrier. They don't want it. No matter how awesome,
they know people like it more. That's the problem.
It would highlight that they're not running their ship the way they could.
And what's funny is there's a sort of effect that happens when a film doesn't get the credence that people think it deserves. It develops and I know a lot of people don't like this word, but it's the accurate phrase.
Don't you say cult following?
Yeah, it develops a cult following. It develops a cult following. And only thing that happens with time is that cult following gets stronger and stronger.
That's how the MCU got huge in the first.
Yeah, exactly. And so the fact that they're not addressing it right now, I know it's a strategy for them to try to weed it out, but it's only going to feed the fire more and more, in my honest opinion. Because the more it gets ignored, the more people will watch and say, like, why is this thing being ignored? Why are they doing anything more with this? And it's just going to get stronger. It's the same thing with Man of Steel and BVS. Those movies came out, Man of Steel came out 8 years ago. Right, and then movies developed a cult following over the years to where all of a sudden, on Henry Cavill's birthday or whenever they did this whole training event for Henry Cavill's or Superman, you had all these people who had gone back and rewatched it and gained an appreciation for it. The fan base for that has grown and grown and grown. The same effects of the Snyder Cut.
They do. What did they do on his birthday? They put out the whole Black Clark Kent thing.
Well, the company did.
The company did.
BVS. Yeah. BVS has grown such a following over the years. It went from literally being such a horribly panned movie that everybody hated, supposedly, that now all of a sudden it has a legitimate following. It has people who finally get it. They understand it. The Snyderverse made that even better because it was already gaining in popularity because people were seeing it regularly on TV. And that's an effect that I think that people overlook sometimes is that when you have movies that are seen regularly on TV, that's how these movies gain a cult following.
Yeah.
Nobody saw them, there's so many movies that nobody saw in the theater. What we were just talking about UHF, what was it last week or the week before, of how like it got buried in that 1989 film year.
We
were reading all those films, right? And I mean, like literally most of the movies of my childhood that I ever loved came out in 1989, it seems. But Weird Al Yankovic's movie UHF got buried. Now it's got a huge cult following because it was on TV. People started discovering it, and the same thing with BVS. TNT has been playing the DC movies left and right, all of them, and people discovered BVS. And you know what? That's the thing when people sit home on a Saturday afternoon and they're like, you know what? That Batman Superman movie's on. I guess I'll watch that because there's nothing else on. And then all of a sudden they start watching and they're like,
this is a real movie.
Yeah, I don't remember it being this okay or this good, right? And then it grows, and then all of a sudden they're getting ready for work, and Batman v Superman's on, and so they got it on in the background while they're getting ready for work, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you know what? That movie was actually pretty good. That movie was pretty good. And then later on they're doing something else, and Batman v Superman's on again in the background, and that's how these movies gain a cult following, is because they're rewatched over and over and over again. Maybe not even in their entirety, but in bits and parts they're seen, and people discover them that way.
I'll tell you what, to like when I go out, if I go out, I see my brothers, I see my family, friends, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm known as the DC guy. Like we had growing up, we had two comic
only
book
wonder
guys
why.
in my crowd. We had two comic book guys in my crowd. One was Marvel, one was me. Yeah.
Dude, I totally respect that too, because you know what? That's been me my whole life, and like even with this whole thing about like people trying to say that I was never a Snyder fan, that I'm a fake Snyder fan and all that junk. It makes me absolutely freaking laugh, because like I literally just had a friend over. He was the old tech guy at my old church, and I had him over in new church, and I was showing him what I was doing because I'm putting up the studio, and I said, hey, you want to hear something funny? And he goes, yeah. And I said, there's these people on Twitter trying to make up this lie about me that I supposedly was never a Snyder fan. And this dude, Jordan, just looks at me and he's like,
yeah,
seriously, I've had to listen to you go on and on and on about Zack Snyder and about these movies, about Man of Steel and all this stuff for the last, 8 years. What? I'm like, dude.
That's they all know that I'm like the psycho over that stuff. So whenever they have questions and stuff, they all come to me after they see movies and stuff like that. And for the last 4 months, all I've gotten every time I go anywhere is like, when we going to see Darkseid invade? Like, when's the next one coming out? Like, because they don't know anything about what's not being done and being
right
done.
Now!
And, yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And they're all what you would consider general public. They know nothing about comic books and comic book movies, and they're all like hyped as shit to see Zack Snyder's Justice League continue. And I have to be like, I don't really know, but you could hashtag this and it would help,
Yeah. That's kind of, I'm in the same situation where everybody knows me as the DC guy pretty much, and they will ask me the same things.
No, that's ill life.
Well, in my group of friends,
Even your group of friends are like, ill life is the
they call it ill life. Yeah. Lindsay even's like, no, it's ill life.
That's a really cool poster, Austin.
She's like, I've seen. She's like, I've seen your room. I helped design your room.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she did.
She didn't touch this.
Well, wait, hold on. That's a whole other story.
Hey, don't you do that now. This is a Sunday podcast.
Wow.
Hey, you're the one saying she didn't touch it. You can't touch this.
So behind me.
Conceived.
She didn't touch what's behind you?
I hope not.
Oh,
whoa,
man.
I don't know, unless that's your choice.
Nerdy in many ways.
Wow.
Oh God, it's too much.
Wow.
But so what about you, Enosh?
Did
Did you see us going around with the percentages? Did you want to give your input on what you think overall? Like,
I'm sorry, I had to step out for a second. What
yeah,
was it?
well, okay, so we were going around giving our like on from a 1 to 100%. After Zaslav comes in and the dust settles, what you think the chances of the Snyderverse continuing in the future?
I mean, like if I got to put a percentage to it, I would say it's like 75%. 75, 80%, you know, like I really feel that things are going to change. I agree totally. And, you know, can we talk about this? I don't understand why people don't understand exactly what everybody has said on this panel. We are all very aware of the fact that Warner Brothers doesn't want Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah.
In the current form.
Exactly.
Like, I don't like, I notice people like they talk about us like us, you know, crazy
Like we're
Snyder
delusional.
fans.
Yeah, I know.
You know, they just can't get it. They just don't understand that Warner Brothers doesn't
Let it
want
die
Zack
and like
Snyder.
something new.
Well, that's why I preface,
Like, do
you know,
we not
that I
understand
bring
it?
up,
Like,
you know, because I want to make
Ryan,
sure
you
that
said
everybody knows
We
what
get it.
What
We
the,
yeah.
But
Ryan,
I
you
think
said
they're
it. Like,
becoming the smaller
we're
percentage.
even willing for it to not be theatrical. I've even said on my own streams, like, look, it's not the way that I want it. But if you even give me an animated movie, if that's the only way that I could get
For
it,
a
maybe
comic book run,
I'll
I
take
would buy.
look,
I would
I'll
buy the
take
hell out of
the
a comic book run.
Yeah.
the comic book run, I would
Yep.
take it if that's the only thing. But I really don't want.
I'd
that.
buy all the variant covers. I'd get everything for that.
At
dang
this
thing.
point, I'd accept recasting just for Zach to have his universe separate and be able to do
Whoa.
it. I know that's a hot take,
wow.
but if it meant Zach was going to direct it, if it meant Zach was going to direct it, it was the only way. I mean,
That's an interesting take. So let's say like for some reason like 10 years from now the new
Everybody's old. Got it.
yeah. And they're like, Zach, do you want to do something? And he just recap. I'd be cool. And he just
10 years from now, yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
I think he would change the story. I think he'd start everything
Probably.
over. I don't think that he would
or
just
even
continue.
him doing like a strict Dark Knight Returns adaptation or something.
I think. Well, he
You know,
still
new
had
actor.
mentioned
would
that
be
he wants to
amazing,
do
too.
that.
See,
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
even think at this point that Zach may even direct it. I feel like Zach may come in, set up that universe, make sure that it's the way that he wants.
I'd be fine with that.
Produce it, but choose
Just
somebody
story by
else
or whatever.
to come in and, you know, because like, okay, again, we're not stupid. We understand that Zach is pretty busy right now, and he's setting himself up pretty well over at Netflix. So we're not stupid. I get so frustrated with like these people who
It could even be like Zach Ben.
Yeah, like I
Maybe,
get so upset
you know, like,
with these people who keep making these videos that like these Snyder idiots that, you know, they're like these Snyder, cultists. They're just so bent on, you know, they just want to hurt Zach. They want Zach to just come back and do this. They're demanding that Zach. Nobody's demanding that Zach do anything that Zach doesn't want.
We know that he went through hell with that. We know very
God's
well.
sake, like, you know, like if that's your narrative, I guess that's your narrative. If that's how you got to make videos,
go watch a couple of his live streams, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
like, you know, I mean, like if that's the only way that you can get people to listen to you is to gripe and complain about Snyder fans and create a narrative that really the majority of Snyder fans are not creating. The majority of Snyder fans have said, look, we don't want Zach to go through any more pain or hurt over these movies. We just want to see his version come out. And and that's the thing. But I'm so sick of being told that, like, I don't know, I don't understand. I'm too close to the situation because we fought for this so hard. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just saying, like, you know, like we get it. Like, you don't have to say that we don't understand how movies are made, because I do understand how movies are made. We're not naive. We're not naive in the least. We understand it. We get it. We know Warner Brothers does not want him in the current state.
all too well.
You give it a couple years, though, things can change. And that's the thing, is the day that Zack Snyder comes forward and says, hey, guys, you know what? You need to just understand we're not going to do this project. We're not going to finish this project. You know what? I will gladly just be like, like I won't say gladly, because it'll be disappointing and it will suck. But you know what? At the same time, I will say, you know what? That's Zach's decision. That if Zach tells me that, that's fine. But like Dawson said before I came in, you know, The point is that until we get that, there are these opportunities. There are ways and paths that this can happen. And so, look, yeah, call it hope, call it whatever you want to call it, but it's something we want to see. So what's so bad about that? I don't understand what's so bad about having hope and actually seeing a positive light of like how this can come to be. Nobody is saying that we've got the inside track or we know, like I just talked to Zack Snyder and he said he's back. You know, but look, everybody said the Snyder Cut wasn't coming either. And guess what? One day we all tuned in and the Snyder Cut was a thing. Everybody's, for the last 7 years, I haven't got to watch CM Punk in a wrestling ring. And Friday night, heck yeah, man, CM Punk came back too. So you know what? Anything's possible. Just saying. Yeah, I'll hold out hope. Y'all be negative and gripe and complain and do your thing.
I'll tell you what. Yeah,
I will.
To anyone,
I know you will. Go change your studio again.
To anyone that wants to
move that box from one side to the other.
To anyone that wants to give up, I will say that 4 months ago or so, we just watched the movie that didn't exist.
Really white thighs.
I know, right? Where do the shorts begin and the legs start?
Was
I say that as the whitest guy.
Was that some kind of engine talk?
Socks.
Oh my gosh, you ain't gonna see me stand up in shorts. I'll tell you right now because my legs are so white, it's not even funny. But I bet Dawson wears sandals with his socks. Whoa, hey, what the heck are you putting on your head with that?
It's wrapping of a comic book. I have a Superman Birthright, the whole series right here.
Dawson's so hopeful. He's trying to become a comic book.
Yeah, that's me.
I do too. I often walk to my corner bodega like that with my socks and slippers.
My corner.
My corner.
That's right.
We don't call them bodega in Philly. We call them poppy stores. But I know that's like the New York. That's a more known term. That's why I use that term. But yeah, I mean, to anybody that wants to give up the fight, what I would have to say is, hey, we just watched a movie that didn't exist.
Yep. That's what I've been saying. Keep telling me it can't happen.
Yeah.
Keep telling me that Zach doesn't want to do it. Like that's what I don't understand.
That's what I think even Zach knows that. Like I think he knows Hollywood enough now at this point to know that the landscape could change at any given time and something could possibly happen.
I don't think we'll ever see Zach come out and say, you know what, guys, the fight's over. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, he's not going to ever come out and say that because I mean, then that just dashes hope, for anything, right? And who's gonna come in and just like burst people's bubble? The only thing he'll do is like, hey guys, here's something cool. Here, let me show you my storyboards. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. And then I wasn't gonna show him, but fuck it, I don't care. So.
But even like Enosh was saying with him coming in the producer sense, I mean, I could point out two examples where that's worked great already. Is Wonder Woman 1 and 302, were both him producing and a different
also, I mean, we haven't
great,
seen the Army of the what is it? Army of Thieves.
Army of Thieves.
Right? We haven't seen that. That's not directed by him.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't have any problems with him, tapping
I think
a director
he'd be a
to
great
come in.
Kevin Feige for DC. I mean,
he would be a great overseer. But I just, I think that I think he would want it to be limited to Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, and I think that would be as far as he would want to go.
Yeah.
I think that he wants to tell his story. He wants to have that to be finished. And then, he can actually, have completion and have a, the 5-film story arc and he's done. But I think that he would be like, yeah, you know what? And what I'll do is I'll set things up so that you can branch things off if you want. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be in charge of that. I just want to finish telling
point them in the right directions.
Yeah. And then, hey, give me royalties to, whatever you branch off of from what I've given you. And that's it.
I mean, if you think about just how many potential spin-off series he was setting up in Zack Snyder's Justice League alone.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I mean, there's so many things you could spin off out of that movie into other series.
Cyborg, the Atom, version of the Flash movie.
Martian Manhunter. Batfleck's flashback story and current story. You know, you got the Deathstroke story and you got the Robin death with Joker. Like that's could even be two separate entities if it's not the same. But
he literally set them up with a perfect set, like in volleyball. If you guys know volleyball, it's a game of a perfect set, and then all of a sudden Warner Bros. Just intentionally slipped on a banana peel on the court. It just appeared out of thin air. No, it didn't appear out of thin air. They put it on the floor, then they stepped on it to slip on it.
It really is just like I mean, it's almost like you have to think. It's like you go back and look at Justice League, and you almost have to think that maybe even beyond the executive's knowledge, that Jeff Johns just wanted to take the job from Zach. Like as far as running the show, and he sabotaged it on purpose, or almost, because he wanted to make Zach look bad and get him out of the way so that he could be running the show the way Zach was, kind of is almost what I think sometimes, because I don't see how anybody looked at that movie and thought, yeah, this is good. Let's put this
executives
is going to make money, like
Birds of Prey was trash.
Like even an unnamed executive came out with that one article regarding Ray Fisher saying, yeah, we knew we were putting out was garbage. Like they knew for a fact that they were putting out a absolute trash heap of a movie.
Yep. And the opening scene directed by Zack Snyder.
Oh gosh.
Well, they had to do that though. They had to do that because of the Directors Guild. So, but the thing is that like, hey, we're on the opposite side of that. There are people who still love that shit. I don't
know how, but love it.
Hey, just like there's people who like Birds of Prey, there are people who like the new Suicide Squad. There's people who like different things, have different tastes,
that's
different strokes for
love.
different folks. Yeah. So I mean, there are people that like that tone or whatever. So,
I think the Legion of Doom will
that would obviously have to depend on where DC's at. I mean, I guess he could just kind of bring them all.
I think in some capacity, like I think you're going to see like some capacity of the villains teaming up with each other. It might not become the Legion of Doom yet, but I think you're right. I mean, just looking at the storyboards that we already had, the ones that are going to be rewritten and all that. Yeah. I mean, they were already, they're going to work together. I don't think that they'll be a Legion of Doom. I don't even know if that they'll use that monocle, that name. I think that they'll just be villains that work together.
What should we have typed on the top of the door? Type in Legion of Doom. Yes,
it's like, why does that look like Suicide Squad?
Legion of Dumb.
So we're some kind of Justice League.
Yeah, yes.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So you want to see something cool I came across today? So
no,
let me share. No, well then screw you.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if that's how you feel, then you know what? Like I
that is how I feel, Enosh.
Okay, well, you know what? I first of all, I came across this. I just shared this with you.
I'm about to hit it.
Look at these two guys. How happy they were!
Wow.
Look at how happy these guys were. They were on a buddy road trip all the way down to Metropolis. I'm finally putting that video together, Dawson.
Oh wow! After like half a year.
I know, like 5 months, man. I'm finally putting that video together, and I'm stealing some of the footage that you've made. That you, I got plenty of footage, but I'm stealing a little bit of the footage that you took, so that I have integrity in mind, because I let you film some stuff that I thought I filmed. But you know what's weird? I can't find our live stream that we did that night in the car.
That's part of yours, isn't it, Dawson?
Yeah, no, it was mine. We did Dawson's channel the next day on the way home.
Yeah,
but I can't find that nighttime one where we were in the dark streaming, and I ended up getting the cowboy hat and all that stuff. I can't find that one even on my channel. I don't know what the heck happened to it.
Huh?
So I don't know. Like I don't remember deleting it.
I don't know.
Did you watch the one Dawson put together of the whole thing?
Well, yeah. Because
I did that little Man of Steel piano at the BVS Comes Home part at the end.
He did, yeah.
Well, I'm going to do a separate video because I got footage too from BVS Comes Home, so I'm going to do a separate one of that. But I was just going to do the road trip down to Metropolis, but I came across this. But this is really what I wanted to share with you, because we were talking about Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, so Tiffany and I, we went to this vintage store that we go to today, and they had this. I thought this was pretty cool.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I keep forgetting. I gotta hit it.
They had this whole set of old Shang-Chi comics. There's like each of these are 2-packs. So there's like 2, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
and it's Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
So yeah, so like these are like $5 a piece for like 2 comics. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like I don't know that they're anything special, but
Dang.
you know, but like with the movie,
what are they like 70s? The time frame?
I think so.
That's what it looks like with the Marvel Comics banner at the top there.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna zoom in here and see.
They were $5.
1977. Yeah,
For 2.
yeah, they're all from 1977. Yeah,
That's not bad at all.
35 cents, guys. 35 cents.
Back in the day.
Yep. But yeah, they got like all these, you know,
Back when apples cost a nickel.
Ooh, they got a number 2. They got the giant size number. They got number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2. That's pretty cool. That's for $3.50. And yeah, they got like number 50, 182.
I cannot shoot.
Cannot kill my own father, Fu Manchu.
Now I'm just thinking of Tim McGraw.
The dialogue.
It's actually Fu Manchu.
Oh,
pronounce it right.
1,000 dooms.
1,000 dooms all I knew now.
Yeah, it was just. I thought it was cool that it was just something I came across. Today, you know, especially with like, you know, all the. Now hold on a second.
Shang-Chi.
I'm sorry. Okay, can you guys see in the bottom right hand corner? Well, it's not. It's over here on the side here. Oh, that's right. You guys are seeing what I was doing. I didn't realize that you guys are seeing. What does that say down there?
Hold the anal ass.
Hold the ass. Hold the anal ass. Yeah.
Hold the anal. Ask.
Hold the anal.
Ask first. Hold the
What
anal.
if it's a mask? Hold the anal.
It's behold the
They
final
forgot the comment. It was just hold the. Right. They forgot the.
Like don't go for it. Don't go for it right away. Just hold it and make sure to ask first.
Oh no!
Consent is everything when we're talking the back door there.
By the way, that's the only comic that Dawson owns of Master of Kung Fu.
I don't own any Shang-Chi comics.
You don't own Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi?
I honestly, I mean, I read some Marvel, but I had no idea who he was going into this movie.
Neither did I. I didn't know about him until the movie was announced. And I was like, what? So I'm with you there.
I was always like Spider-Man, X-Men, and like Punisher and Daredevil. I was like, yeah, I maybe Ghost Rider once in a while, but
I think there's the name.
I never really delved
right
into
there.
Avengers. Like,
there's the name of your band, Death Trap for Shang-Chi.
Death Trap for Shang-Chi.
Oh, there he said it.
I was repeating what he said, you dingus.
No, you said it because you've been correcting everybody every time. So, yep, you said it.
Yeah,
you got
it's Shang-Chi.
Rains off the tongue.
What?
I'm trying to see what's going on in the car.
Ryan's
like
drunk
madness.
Vintage. Oh, look, there's vintage for you.
With the cat.
Locked in a death battle with the cat.
Vintage, yeah, you would say that.
Yeah.
Vintage.
It's a giant green.
The guy over there's got like a Star Wars blaster or something. Like,
yeah, right. This guy right here.
yeah.
That's Luke
Skywalker. Or is that a
silencer?
Is that, yeah, it looks like a space
Han
gun
shot first, guy.
Yeah, it's Han shooting.
All I hear is just everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah.
And it's
like, whoa, he doesn't use guns. He doesn't use guns. What is this?
This is the moment Earth dies. Only Shang-Chi can prevent it. But I cannot shoot. I cannot kill my own father, Fu Manchu.
Isn't that a
He needs some gun agra.
Beard?
You say he needed some gun agra?
Some gun agra?
What the heck is that?
He can't throw over the gun. You know? You'll understand one day.
Right.
Hold the anal.
Hold the ask.
Ask first.
That ruins the moment.
That ruined the moment.
You got to just go for it. You know,
Sure,
go for the bug.
Cherie says this is behold the final task, you perverts.
Shri, you know us by now.
Cherie, I was just trying to say that they should get consent first. I don't care how much karate you know.
Oh man.
I don't care. I don't care if your dad is Fu Manchu. You gotta ask
How
first.
much karate?
You
I
gotta
don't care
ask
how
first.
much karate. Yeah.
Ask Dawson. He knows all about it.
What? I'm so confused.
Oh, so you're getting labeled as all kinds of stuff lately.
I know. Apparently, the Sunday podcast, I'm a sexist, racist. I'm also a.
Wow, yeah.
What was the thing today, Enosh?
You
CM
said that
Punk.
guy's name.
CM Punk, CM Punk
Oh
is
yeah,
all
let's
new,
not say that again.
It ruined it.
What did CM
I mean,
Punk call
you completely demonetized everything that that you could do.
I'm nowhere close to monetized yet. Anyway,
I can't remember what CM.
What was
Punk
his
called
name
you.
again, Dawson?
Nope.
No, that wasn't his name.
He's like, I'm not doing that again.
I only did it so you guys can understand what I went through.
I didn't understand what you went through.
I don't
His name
care.
was Nike. His name was Nike.
Especially you, Ryan. I don't care.
Nigel.
Nigel. Phone's bottom.
Bill
I have a better British accent than you do.
That's
What?
Cagney. That's not British.
What?
Yeah. What? Get out of here.
What are you saying?
Crazy.
What do you want from me?
Oh no.
Have you guys
British
read,
accents are awesome.
speaking of comics, have you guys read the Masters of the Universe prequel comic?
No.
No.
I want to.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Dawson, I'll send you a link, man. It looks so good. Here, let me
I haven't watched the new show yet because I'm waiting for Army of Thieves to turn Netflix
let
back
me
on.
just show you some of the artwork because I just took some screenshots from it because it's telling a very interesting story. I'll be honest with you about Skeletor. It will make you think about Skeletor in a little bit of a different way. I got to be honest. Let me show you.
Well, they showed him in the show before he got, messed up with his face. Or who
Yeah.
he was.
But this is different. In this comic, he always was like this, and he was from another dimension. They go back to the original stuff where he was from a dimension where they all have skeleton faces. Yeah, here, let me I don't know if I got that on here, but you can see the artwork here.
I like it.
It's just so good.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See here he is from his planet.
Holy decapitation.
Wow.
I've seen that guy before.
Yeah, that's Hordak. Evil Lynn is playing some part on this. I mean, so apparently spoiler. I don't know if you want to be spoiled for the second comic. There's only two. So, but Skeletor basically tells a story. It's actually got a lot of people kind of going back and forth online about it because Skeletor kind of tells a story, and what's that term where he's
Unreliable narrator.
Yeah, people think that he's an unreliable narrator in it, but we're not sure because the way it's set up, he starts telling the story about like the planet that he came from, the dimension that he came from, where he had a daughter and a wife. So you see here, he's looking back and he's imagining his wife. He's imagining Evil Lynn as his wife, and that his child and his wife were killed in front of him. And so it's kind of weird because it makes you feel like they're trying to make you have sympathy for Skeletor, but then Skeletor like rose up amongst his people, I guess, and set them free from slavery. But then Hordak came, and Hordak took over and made Skeletor his number one guy. And you see here, like it's weird. This is Skeletor like holding his baby. Like,
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Like, what's his neighbor?
Like a little skull baby.
Like, his name is Skeletor. His neighbor's like Skeleton. It's like, what the fuck?
Skeletal.
Well, it was probably Keldor. It was probably Keldor.
Skeletor's cousin, Skeleton.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny.
It's
Like all these people are wearing normal clothes, but like Skeletor is still wearing his.
Yeah, like
skeleton.
What's that guy's name right there with
Skeleton.
the armor?
This guy?
Red.
This
And,
guy.
yeah, it's like Skeletusiak.
Skelerian.
Yes, Skelechung.
Skelechi.
Yes, Skeleton.
Oh, this
Skeledave.
Skeleshung.
This is some
Skellawong.
This tells where how he got his Havoc staff. Because these beast creatures and stuff had all his people enslaved. You can see here all of his people are enslaved, which again, all these guys are wearing like regular clothes except for Skeletor. He's got this cool outfit.
Yeah.
But Skeletor ends up killing one of these guys and then uses the head and then uses the head for the top of his
staff.
But like this is where Skeletor sees the girl.
Yeah. Oh,
she gave him the eyes.
You look so heavenly.
Even love
the hollowed eyes,
the death eyes.
I can't do it right now because my throat is so gone.
What a lovely smile you have.
I love your teeth.
You have all of your teeth.
I got lost in your eyes.
Is that molars?
No. I got lost in your nasal passages. You can see them.
This is pretty cool.
I want to poke my finger in your eye socket.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a form of flirtation on my planet.
There's a skull something there. I don't know.
It shows you want to start a courtship.
Skeletor, put it out, all of you out.
There's something you have to ask for.
Why did you put it in?
You have to ask to use the eye socket.
Dawson!
You have to ask to use the eye socket.
Why did you have to add my name into that?
Out! All of you out.
And that one shot, it's like she has no lower body. You see that?
Yeah, I could eat.
Up top there. It looks like they forgot to put her lower body under.
Oh,
yeah.
She's just a phantom.
They did.
She strokes his skull face. That's so freaking weird.
Oh, wow.
I remember when I was a little kid, I used to think her and the chick with the bird head were both like so hot in the cartoon. Like when I was
what's funny is Skeletor's probably looking at her like, you don't have eye sockets. Get out of here.
Yeah, right. You're an ugly
like
alien.
to pull your flesh.
Evil Lynn in Revelation is like she is hot, man, with that long white hair. Oh my gosh. But
yes. The grandma look is in.
So
yes.
But I mean, I love this.
I love the way they did He-Man's face. That's a good design.
You know, some of this actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Mask of Shy's work.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Like it reminds me of like especially that poster that he did of everybody.
Especially that Evil Lynn face there. Yeah, that's a Mask of Shy look.
Yeah.
He's gotten a lot better lately. He's like definitely on the way up as far as his skill goes. Like he's just keeps getting better and better with everything I see him do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a really great read. Like I said, two books in, and it's a lot of good stuff.
That's cool, man.
I wish they'd do a second follow up with the comic they had of Raised by Wolves, but they haven't done that yet.
Raised by Wolves.
Yeah, they have a little virtual.
Raised by Wolves.
They have a digital comic out, but they didn't do any follow ups. It's like a side story or something. Like it's like a day in the life of them like raising the kids and like showing a little bit of backstory of Mother.
Yeah. I've been like a fan of the Walking Dead shows the whole time up until now. I haven't watched the two new ones yet, but I'm caught up to that point. And I just like in the last couple of months started tearing through the comics. And I want
to get the compendiums so bad.
They're really good. I mean, a lot of the story's the same, but a lot of it's not. And it's it's really good. Like the comic is better than the show, I think, like story wise, basically.
Sure. The show had to take some liberties.
Yeah.
I mean, the show is better production value wise, obviously, but the comics, like I like the depth of the story more, but they're really good comics.
That's usually how it goes. Yeah, for sure.
That's something I never would have gave a chance were it not for the show first. Put it that, you know what I mean? But I've never would read horror comics really. But because of that, I went back and read the comics and I love them now. They're like great. Like, and I'm like deep. I'm deep too. Like I'm 100 issues in something like that or something like.
I want to get into them too. There's a bunch of compendiums that I saw at this local store, and I'm just like, yes, I need those in my life.
Nah.
But with that, I do have to get going, unfortunately.
I think we're at 2 hours anyways. I'm gonna get her shut down or whatever. Like everybody get out of here.
Cool.
But everybody want to go around the horn, tell everybody where they can find you.
Ryan.
Yeah, you
Ryan,
can find me on the Four Nerds Network on Thursdays. I think we're gonna have Kristen Acuna this week, so that'll be cool. And and then I'll be doing another drawing stream on Tuesday. So Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Great conversation again. Loved it.
Absolutely. And then you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NIMW32. Also the YouTube channel Nerdy in Many Ways, as well as on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Four Nerds. You can also check out my streams on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and Sundays we're going to be shooting more towards like 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the Sunday podcast. And of course, other videos interspersed in between. I will probably have 2 videos out tomorrow because I don't work tomorrow, so that's a bonus. So
Lucky you.
Yeah. I just your boss just saw that and he was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they really can't do anything about it. So, anyways, it's great to be here, man. Good to finally be on your channel.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely.
Enosh, awesome.
Yeah, sure. So Poindexter Lounge, you can find me on there, hanging out, chilling, maxing all cool, relaxing outside of the school. Until a couple of guys who are up to no good start making trouble in my neighborhood. My wife got scared and said, "You're moving downstairs."
That was good.
So, so you can find me at Poindexter Lounge all the way around, except for Twitter. It's Poindexter Lounge, but you just take the E out of the middle of Poindexter. But find us on there. We got a lot of fun stuff that I'm working on right now. Actually, I got a Skeletor project that I'm working on. It should be fun. To answer Cherie's question, no, it's not just a digital comic. Actually, it is a physical comic as well. But you can read it online. There's lots of places you can read comics. We're just having some fun, man. And
thank you for coming again, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And then me, you can find me on Twitter. Never mind. No, you can find me on Twitter at AlienLV1023, and then over at the Pop Culture Corner. I'm on there pretty much every day. So yeah, check it out.
Nice.
Yep. You can find me here in SNYDER AV at the Ill Life channel every Sunday, and on Twitter, Vero, Instagram at Ill Life, and on Instagram at Rackstack Music. I also wanted to bring up to let everybody know. I'm developing a second show right now that's going to include Austin over here, and well, for the first one anyway that I'm figuring out, it's going to include Austin, Brian Master, and Nunn, I believe, is going to be on too.
Nice.
And put it this way: anyone else in the community that streams, that sees this, and is pro green, organic pot, hit me up, DM me, because we're putting together like a vodka stream. We're putting together like a vodka stream for the green community, and I want to. It's going to be called. It's going to be called
Big into green,
like the burn sound, like TSSSS.
favorite color.
Because
look at his shirt.
Yeah,
it's going to be called the SNYDER AV. It's going to be called the SNYDER AV Sunday Superhero Smokeout Stream.
Wow.
There you go.
That's
a good touch.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. So,
do you have to smoke it though, or can you?
I want to. I think for the first one, I want everybody to, because that's
it's not as visual.
The point is,
Dawson, show us your bong.
We may have to take hits off screen. I'm not sure of the legalities of it yet. I'm figuring everything out.
Like, I got some gummies over here.
Yeah, Dawson
pulls out a
it's really inspired from Dave the Film Junkie with the vodka stream, because I always liked watching them tackle topics as they got buzzed, so I kind of want it to be like a similar situation where we're like getting high and tackling hot topics.
Like the Haribo.
Dawson gets lit. He gets really lit.
Dawson's like the Haribo kids with like he thinks they're gummies, and he's just like, I like cherry. Cherry's my favorite.
How did I become the target
I mean,
of this?
as it
I'm so
evolves,
confused.
as it
hour
evolves,
later.
I think I'll be
Half hour
open to
later.
non-guests. Like
Yeah.
just in the
Half hour
beginning, I
later,
want the
Dawson's
first couple
like-
to be all.
I think I should rearrange my room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rearrange.
That's
it.
what happened. I mean,
Guys,
it was
I'm
one
gonna
bad
rearrange the
trip.
room.
It's amazing how much space I have in this studio now. Thank you
Yeah.
for reminding me of that. I'm so proud of
Oh.
myself.
It's like, what if CAT
Really spelled dog.
That's
Steve
What if I
Ogre.
put the headphones on my face?
Yeah, exactly. Integrity. That's
What if
But,
Martian Manhunter became Cyborg? Dude.
Yeah,
well, I feel like
man.
everybody will be veterans, so I don't think it'll be that bad. But I think it will be. I think it will be entertaining. It will be funny. That's the point. You know?
No, we're just saying if Dawson were on it, that'd be funny. That would be-
Yeah. Dawson baked. There you go.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh,
that would be
wow.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
I would definitely pay to see that. But
He'd be
But all right,
giggling
well-
more than he's giggled the whole night.
but yeah, thanks for everybody for coming again. Thanks to everybody in the chat,
Yep.
and we'll see you next week.
Right
Later.
on.
Yeah.
Inspired us fans so much. Grab a little weekend past that day we had the hashtag up. Release the Snyder Cut, and we would not give up till we got to see the vision Warner Brothers promised us. And then we trended up, despite all the naysay, and made them notice that we were never gonna go away. Kept fighting every day, and I guess that was the key. 'Cause now we're really gonna see Zack Snyder's Justice League. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League, and you douchebags fucked it up. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. Why did you chop it up and make it fucking suck? Now we're getting Zack JL.